Hey YouTube friends! So remember in my last video when I said I was going to do a video that I would just dedicate to talking about dreams because I was just rambling on? That's this video. And I will warn you right now, I definitely will ramble on in this video, so be prepared for it to be a little long. But I'm going to go right into it. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming is something that I can do, apparently. It's not something I've ever tried to do. It's not something I've ever worked to do. I don't honestly know a whole lot about lucid dreaming, except that I know what it is, so I know I'm doing it. I just don't know why. I have a theory as to why, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. But, so what I'm actually talking about first is I have nightmares. Everyone has nightmares. About half of my nightmares get to be so intensely emotional and upsetting that I will just suddenly realize that it's a dream. Sometimes I won't necessarily realize it's a dream, but I'll realize that I have control over what's going on, so it's kind of similar. But a lot of times I do. I just realize straight up I'm dreaming. And I take control of the situation and realize I don't have to put up with what's going on. I can just change it. And I do that. So the first time this happened to me is when I was about 12 years old, and I had a dream about my little brother being kidnapped and pulled into a car window. And I was trying to punch this person and stop them from doing what they were doing, but it's like where you hit stuff and nothing happens and they just kind of laugh at you and you feel like you can't really move right and that kind of thing. And I was getting really upset, obviously. And then all of a sudden I realized that I didn't have to let this continue, like I could do something about it. So at this time in my life I was obsessed with Dragon Ball Z. You can see it. I don't know if you can see it. I have a Dragon Ball Z pillow over there, so I still like Dragon Ball Z, but I loved it at this age. So I just randomly decided in the dream, like, I didn't know what to do, so I was like, I'm just going to turn into a Super Saiyan, and I will just blow up this car and stop this from happening. So I blew up the car and turned into a Super Saiyan. It was all cool, and it was great, and then it wasn't a nightmare anymore. And I think the reason that started at that age is because at that age I started doing a certain thing that's kind of like meditation, but not really. What I mean by this is, it's kind of hard to explain, but I guess like I lay down in bed every night, like every single night. Sometimes I miss a night here and there, but probably 6 out of 7 days a week I do this. And I've done it since I was about 12, where I put on headphones and I listen to music and I imagine, like visualize sort of movies to go with songs. So like really extended music videos basically. But being that I'm just kind of a weird, crazy, random person, like apparently, like I'll just tell you right now, I'm one of those pagan people who is not all about like pacifism. I'm a pretty like rough and tough kind of violent person when it comes to protecting people. So I constantly dream and like visualize, not dream, but I dream about it too, but I visualize this stuff and like make cool like action stories and things like that. And I will imagine worlds where things are flying around and people have superpowers and that kind of like whatever sort of fun stuff. And I think that's why that crops up whenever I lucid dream, is I do this all the time, at least once a day for a while, and it's like the same thing kicks in and I realize that I can do that same stuff when I'm dreaming and it's a nightmare and it's really bad. So I think that's maybe why I learned that skill and how that works. Honestly, I don't know. If you know more about lucid dreaming than me, feel free to share, because that's kind of the extent of my knowledge. So I'm going to move on to my next topic. Next thing I want to talk about is like the scene of my dreams is just weird, and sort of the perspective that my dreams take sometimes. So a lot of people dream normal stuff, like when they're going to work, when they're at school, when they're at home doing their normal things. I can only remember one dream where I've had that kind of stuff, and it was a reoccurring nightmare actually. Not all of my dreams where I have nightmares can I control them, but I don't dream normal situations in my life. I dream like really crazy, out there, fantasy, weird stuff. I don't know why. Like one of the things that seems to crop up in my dreams a lot is like buildings that are just endless or that don't make logical sense. Like they're just huge in a way that normal things aren't. Like being inside a mall and literally it never ends and it's just this giant open circle room thing. Whatever. The physics in my dream are just crazy basically. So, and I have stuff where everybody in the dream has like strange superpowers and stuff again, like just weird stuff all the time. The weirder thing about that is that in a lot of my dreams, I'm not in it. And I've never heard anybody have a dream like that. I guess, well, before I get into that, I also have dreams. This is a really good example of a weird, like, scene. I have dreams that are literally a computer screen. I don't know if I've ever met anybody else who's described this either, so if you have, let me know. But my dream literally is a screen, and I can see what's going on only on the screen. I can hear people talking to me and like things going on in a room around me and stuff, but I literally just see a computer screen. I've had several dreams like that, and I don't know why. I guess I'm on the computer way too much, like, I don't know. But I just think it's really weird because I've never had anybody else describe that kind of a setting in their dream. But perspective also changes in my dreams a lot in a really weird way. So occasionally, I will, and by occasionally I mean like every month and a half to 2 months, I have dreams that are, I'm not in it, and sometimes I will be in the body of somebody that I just don't identify or connect to. Like there's nothing I'm doing, I'm an observer like in a body. So, and by this I mean like, it's kind of like if you played a video game where you're like, I guess a first person shooter and you can see stuff like in front of you and your arms move around and everything, but I don't have control of who's playing basically, I'm just watching. So I've had dreams like that several times. And then I also have dreams where I'm not in it in any body even, I'm just watching it. Like from above or from the side, or it's like a movie basically, and I'm nowhere to be found. Most of those dreams really are really weird because they're usually kind of violent and disturbing, and like they're really action-packed. Like a lot of my dreams are kind of action-packed, but these are just kind of creepy. And a really good example is about a week ago I had one of these dreams, and there was a guy trying to kill another guy in the woods with a sledgehammer. I don't understand. Like, I don't know why I dreamed that, and it's really weird and kind of creepy. But it's not like a nightmare where I feel threatened, so that whole lucid thing doesn't kick in. It's like I'm just sort of watching something that bothers me, but it's not enough to trigger that. So there's those. I have strange perspective in my dreams sometimes, and frequently I will have dreams where I am a man or a woman, or just like it switches around, like, and I never necessarily identify with that body even. Like I'm just like moving from person to person in a story. It's really weird. So, third thing. Themes in my dreams. I tend to have like themes that go on like in my life, and I think everybody probably does that, where like what's going on in your life, you kind of consistently have dreams about those things. A really good example is my cousin I mentioned to you guys was in the hospital. Right after that happened, I consistently had dreams that had to do with my childhood, my cousins being there, me being on an airplane to some crazy like vacation spot, which we all used to take vacations together, but like all of my cousins would be on this plane with me, and it was a plane that was way bigger than I'm getting off topic, back to strange places. Regardless, didn't make sense. But the theme was my cousin, because there was something going on with one of my cousins in my life. When I was younger, I'm a crazy mother hen type personality. Like, you would probably be driven crazy if you actually knew me. Like, you would not like me at all, because I would just mother you and drive you nuts. So I did this to my brother all the time, and I would constantly have dreams where my brother was getting kidnapped, where my brother was gonna get beat up by kids, where people were just being unfair to him, where he was like really upset or hurt, where he was gonna fall off of something or just whatever. Like, I constantly had dreams where my brother had something bad that I had to stop from happening. And that was a theme for a lot of years until he grew up and could kind of take care of himself, and I grew up and I guess I just started mothering other people. Like, I don't know. But like a theme that's sort of been throughout my life that I think says a lot about who I am as a person. Like it maybe doesn't come across like to people who even know me necessarily, but maybe not through YouTube in particular. But I'm that sort of person where I do mother hen everybody. I'm really concerned about everybody. And even though I sometimes don't necessarily say something or do something when I want to, the thought that I want to do stuff is there, and I am concerned about people. So most of my dreams, and I don't mean like, I'm not exaggerating, probably 8 out of 10 dreams that I have literally have this theme, and that is I have to stop the bad things, save everybody, catch the bad guy, find the object that will solve the problem. I guess my subconscious thinks I'm like the superhero, like badass savior person, like the chosen one type of character. It's really annoying. Like, I don't know why all of my dreams are like that. And frequently, of course, because I watch so much anime, I have amazing superpowers, and I'll be like an X-Men or some weird whatever. So these dreams don't really make sense, but the theme behind it reflects things that I experience in my everyday life. So I find that really interesting though, because I think from dreams, and I think anybody can do that, like if you pay attention to your dreams over a long period of time, you'll notice themes if you remember your dreams. And I do, so I notice this stuff. Another one is, and my last sort of topic is past lives. And when I say past lives, I'm going to kind of lump this into the category of also like messages or like vision type dreams. I've had on several occasions dreams where I think people who are deceased have come to visit me and left me messages and things like that. I have had dreams where I literally think that it is such a symbolic thing, like, and I know I've seen other people describe this even on YouTube, where you have a dream and it's like every little thing in the dream seems to have meaning and you remember every single detail and it just like you can't get it out of your head. I think those are things that like are divine, like whoever you connect to, the deities and stuff. I think that is like a direct message from them to you to try and help you in some way. I also think that people on occasion dream about past lives. And when I was in like 6th or 7th grade, so I'm thinking I was like 12 or 13 years old when this was happening, probably more like 13. I had a dream almost every single night for months, probably about half a year, where it was like a reoccurring nightmare. And I call it a nightmare, but it's really not a nightmare because I felt like it was actually happening every single time. Same dream every single time. So I'm just going to share this one with you because it's fairly short, and I feel like it sort of gets my point across, but the weird thing about this dream is I was a man. Like, I don't know how to explain that or why that is the way it is in this dream, but I was a guy. And I was a guy on a ship. And it was a big, wooden, giant freaking ship that's really old. Like, I'm not talking modern day anything. This was an old-ass ship. And so I'm on the ship with my hands, like, on a railing, just watching the sunset. And the whole dream, like, the feel of the dream is just really calm and kind of relaxing, like, end of the day where you can just kind of kick back. And so I'm just watching the sunset, and all of a sudden, something, don't know if it was a someone or an object or what, but something whacks me super hard in the back, like upper back, and I flip over that banister railing. And I'm not kidding when I say it's a big ship, like this was multiple stories high. Fall off the side of the boat, hit the water in such a way where I was not planning on hitting the water at all, like obviously I didn't try and fall off the side of this, and I break my leg. And it's very painful. Like, I'm not even going to describe it because it's morbid and weird, but it hurts a lot. So I'm treading water in a lot of pain, and I start yelling for help, basically, like trying to get somebody's attention. Nobody hears me, I guess, and I'm just watching this boat, like, go off into the distance. The sun continues to set, and we're in these waves that are, like, giant-ass waves. So I'm thinking we were way out at sea somewhere. I don't know where. The water wasn't particularly cold, like I don't even remember anything about that. I think I was so focused on it was freaking painful and the sun's going down, which is bad. No one noticed that I fell. And all of a sudden, like, it gets to where it's just about dark, and the waters have gotten to where they're not as big of waves, they've kind of calmed slightly, but I start feeling things bump me under the water. Like, large things bumping against me. And that's like the most terrified feeling I think I've ever experienced, and then I wake up. And that is the dream that I had all the time, and it was scary. And I will tell you, to this day, my number one fear, like, just, people ask you, what are you most afraid of? Deep, dark, murky water. I can't even walk next to pond water very comfortably. Like, lakes freak me out, oceans freak me out, like, water that isn't clear, even clear water that's like really big bodies of water where I know things can swim up at me, just, I don't have words for how much that bothers me, and it's directly related to that dream. So I personally feel like it's just like a sort of extrapolation, I'm guessing, but I always felt like after that dream ends I probably got eaten by something or something terrible happened. But it's terrifying, and I will also say, in relation to all of this, if you've ever heard somebody say that you can't die in dreams, and if you do, you die in real life or whatever, I'm just gonna call total bullshit on that, because I die in dreams frequently. Because half of my dreams are where, like, I'm having to sacrifice myself to save people. And I mean that literally. Like, I take bullets for people, I go to a hospital and I slowly die on a hospital bed, and you can feel blood filling up in your lungs and just like really detailed, creepy, and I die. Many, many times. And look, I am here. I'm just saying. So I personally don't believe that crap when people say that, because it's happened to me a lot. So my 2 cents on that issue. You can disagree, but you're not going to change my mind. So I'm sharing this though because in part, dreams are really something that bothers me, like this whole concept. Like, I just talk about this a lot. I could have given you way more examples than I did too. I had to boil this way down. So I would like to hear kind of what you guys think, what you've experienced, if stuff I'm talking about makes sense and you can relate to that and you know what I'm talking about, or if you're just like, what are you talking about? It doesn't even sound anywhere near anything I've had happen. Let me know, because I want to hear. So feedback, as always, much appreciated. I'm going to an anime convention tomorrow, which I'm really excited about. So I will maybe make one of those videos like I did with the Battle of Nations tournament, where I kind of videotape things and smash it together. So maybe look forward to one of those, but otherwise I will just see you guys whenever I get back. Bye!